And speaking of shares, we have all had our share of sleepless nights, and a lack of Z's can actually have a major impact on your energy, even your memory. But there's good news. Doctors say they know how the body rebounds the day after you skimp on sleep. Fox News medical contributor Dr. Mark Siegel is joining us now. Doc, always good to see you.
Good morning,
especially when you could tell me how I feel better when I've only had 4 hours of sleep.
Well, because if you compensate the next night, by the way, I have it on good authority that Bill Hemmer gets about 6 hours of sleep, he's okay. If he gets 7, he's happy, and if he gets 8, he's on cloud 9. That is in keeping with what studies show.
Really? You're doing your homework, too.
Absolutely. That's a good thing to get, Bill. But here's the thing, though. It's not just sleep. It's actually the quality of sleep. It isn't just the amount of sleep you get, because we found out in this study that if you take too many sleeping pills, it decreases what's called deep sleep or slow wave sleep. That's the best kind in terms of restorative. And Jamie, what actually occurs is the night after you don't get enough sleep, if you have to get here very early in the morning, if you don't get enough sleep and you compensate the next night, your body knows this and it gives you more of this slow wave activity sleep, which helps you perform functions, it helps you to think more clearly, and basically it involves the higher centers of the brain. So this is a very, very good thing to know, because a lot of people think, uh-oh, I missed a night of sleep. It's gone. It's not true. The next night you can compensate.
Well, they always say you can't catch up, but this is the University of Texas Southwestern, very reputable medical center. The study's pretty extensive, not necessarily with humans, but with rats. And you bring up a really good point, Doc, because a lot of people are relying on sleeping pills these days, this whole Ambien generation, as I like to call it. And I worry that they'll be so dependent, they'll never be able to truly regulate their normal sleep. Are you concerned?
I'm very concerned, Jamie, and that's a really good point to be talking about with this study, because, you know, even though this study was in mice, they were actually able to manipulate mice the way you can't do with humans, and they found that if they changed a certain enzyme in the brain, they were able to reduce the amount of slow activity sleep, and these mice could not perform the tasks the same. And you know what? The sleeping pills that you're discussing, not just sleeping pills, but sedatives as well, cause this effect so that you don't get the clear effect of slow wave activity or deep sleep. And I am very concerned about that because a lot of my patients think, oh, you know, it's not a matter of good sleep, it's a matter of getting a certain amount. And so they take Ambien or they take another sedative, and actually it may be interfering with their ability to think clearly. This may actually be a landmark study in this direction.
Not to mention the fact that you can do all kinds of weird things and not remember it on those sleeping pills.
And that may be related to that because it interferes with the ability to get enough deep sleep. We always talk about REM sleep, which is the rapid eye movement sleep. That's the sleep when you dream, and that's important too, but deep sleep is restorative and may even be more important.
Doc, let me ask you about what to do if you do lose that night's sleep and you can't catch up right away. What is your prescription for people who have a bad night's sleep?
Well, and so it feeds right into what this study is saying. You know, you can learn techniques to sleep better that don't necessarily involve taking a prescription medication. You got to get into a certain routine that you know works for you, something to slow down the brain, certain ritualistic activities. I always fill lineups in my head, baseball lineups, especially with baseball season coming. You go into a dark room. You don't eat close to when you get to bed. You use the bed for sleep mainly. You turn off the TV. You really get some time to calm down and go to sleep. This is the main thing. You have to have a proper routine. And especially after missing sleep the night before, you have to try to compensate the next night.
Exercise before you go to bed, good idea or bad?
Very good idea, but not 10 minutes before. Again, exercise, and this study looks at this too, exercise shows after that you tend to do more sleep, deeper sleep. So getting active and doing more exercise will help you to get more restorative sleep.
All right, we'll give it a try. And you're right, Bill looks especially rested today, I have to say. Bill,
6 hours,
good night's sleep?
6 hours and 15 minutes, Jamie. I think it's the Friday.
7 hours tomorrow night, Bill.
Okay.
All right, quit bragging.
How can you be in a bad mood on a Friday for crying out loud?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Jamie.
You can throw out the Ambien if you exercise. You're right about that, Doc. Good point.
Thank you.
All right, the